Welcome, people, back to the show. Horrendous night for both our clubs, really. Igal, what went wrong for Arsenal this evening, mate?
It was good for about 15 minutes. We scored the first goal. You thought things were going to go well. Gabriel Jesus getting on the goal, Bukayo Saka getting his 10th goal contribution of the season. But then David Raya made a mistake leading up to the goal, and that was a moment of lapse of concentration. They were very clinical with that chance, wrapping it around the keeper. It's a good goal on their part. And you gotta say, you know what, move on. But then Bukayo Saka gets injured, and I think that deflated the whole team. We can't come here and say, oh, it's an excuse when one player. These things cannot happen. We have a good enough squad where even with Bukayo Saka going out injured in the 30-something minute, the rest of the team should be able to have enough to go through it. It was not good enough. The second half performance was terrible. We had chances to draw the game, but we never had chances to actually go and win this game. Yeah, I felt like we had a situation where Trossard was pushing, didn't really come, and nothing came from it. The keeper saved it. It could have almost been an own goal. We also had a situation where Tomiyasu was through. He couldn't finish it off. Reece Nelson was through, couldn't finish it off. And just overall performance from the team was flattering to deceive. The first away performance in the Champions League this season, and this is how we perform. We lose against a minnow. This does not breed any confidence, especially going into the game against Manchester City. I'm very disappointed, and I'm more worried now about Bukayo Saka's injury going into the big game on the weekend, because it's not just a loss. It's now the fact that we could be down one of our best players going into that big game at the Emirates. So all in all, what was supposed to be a good night just became a horror show in France. I don't know what else to say.
I hear you on that. Like, Souls, do you echo what Igal's saying there? And I've seen a lot of criticism online tonight for Arteta, basically essentially blaming him for tonight, blaming him for Saka's injury. What's your take on it, mate?
The reality is, whether Saka's injured or not, he spent £700 million, had 3.5 seasons. This is his squad. So whether he's got 1 injury or 4 injuries, he's got no excuses to get this team to perform. He's had long enough. He's got no excuses. There's no more money coddling him and acting like he's a baby in this game now. Now it's time to deliver. And if people are going to sit there and start stressing out and start worrying about, for those people who say trust the process, you're bullshitting yourself then. Because either you're a liar or you're a hypocrite. You're both. Because you can't trust the process and 1 injury happens and you want to stress out. Now it's time for him to step up. Let the manager show us what this process is. We've trusted it. We've backed it. We've supported him. Now you support us. As a fan, he needs to support us. And so far, this guy is making every horrible decision he can. This team looked uninspired. This team from the beginning, even when Jesus scored, I did not see us winning this game. I said, this team does not look the same as I've been seeing it. The mentality of this team all season has been horrible. The mentality has to come into question. And that comes from Arteta. We've praised the culture change. We've praised how different we've looked, how dominant we've looked, how much we've wanted to win games. This season looks completely the opposite. I don't even recognize this team. And I know people are going to say it's probably emotional from my loss. I've said this all season. I've been speaking about, even the Gal notes, I've been speaking about the players' mentality every single game. I've not liked what I'm seeing so far. And the reality is today was coming. We've been lucky with results. We've been lucky to not be beaten up until this point. And I said I was hoping, right, because people said I overreacted after the Northern Derby. I was really hoping it was a wake-up call. But the reality is they've gone back into somber again. And today was just a repeat of what I've been seeing. This loss isn't a surprise. But I fucking hope it's a slap in the face and they wake up. Because not a single one of them is held accountable. Gabriel Jesus, after he scored the goal, shit. Vieira comes on, poor. Havertz, poor. Trossard, poor. Raya, poor. The only player that can actually hold their heads like the entire season is probably Saliba. The rest of this team, and maybe Declan Rice, the rest of them have been awful. And no one wants to call them out. No one wants to sit there, right, and actually call this team out. All we do is we get lost in the narratives of, oh, support your team. I've been saying this all season. This is actually the worst I've seen them. I'm fine with the slow start. I'm fine with winning 1-0. but there's got to be a turnaround. They get too happy. They get lost in their emotions. We beat Bournemouth 4-0, 5-0, and they thought they're the big bollocks again. That's how we came into it. Do you know how embarrassing it is for Lons to sit there and go, actually, these men ain't going to do anything. Let's push. Let's attack them. Let's actually go for the win. Imagine that, a team like that, thinking that they can sit there and go, yeah, let's go for the win. Nah, man, this team's embarrassing.
Jason, do you echo that? Do you feel embarrassed tonight by Arsenal? And do you think you should be doing better away against a team like Lens?
Well, yeah, exactly echoing Gunnar Souls at the moment. I'm pissed off, actually. I can't lie. There was no fight there. I mean, when it came to 2-1, there's no urgency whatsoever. I mean, like, there's no responsibility within the team. Like, who's actually going to step up? Like, who's that person? Where's Odegaard? Where's Jesus after the first goal? Where's Fabio Vieira? Like, honestly, this is Arteta's time. Like, I was there. I was pretty much, when I first came to the Terrace, I was like, you know what? I said Arteta out. I know. I don't want to get proved wrong, but this guy is not the guy. I'm sorry. He's not the guy to take us forward. And it shows us this season that, you know, the performance is not right, the mentality is not right. And I mean, like, I can't name one good performance this season. Even though we're grinding out results, fair enough. We're unbeaten in the Premier League so far. I mean, what kind of standard out performance have I seen all season? Like, I'm not being reactive.
Bournemouth.
Yeah?
Bournemouth.
Let's be honest, even that was a boring game. Even that was an exciting.
Honestly, like, I wasn't happy. We're meant to be beating these poor sides in front of us anyway. They're championship level at best. Like, honestly, it's not good enough. Like, the only player can get their heads out high, I would say Saliba. Hands on. The player didn't give a shit. Odegaard, once again, another away game. Where was he? Like, people trying to compare James Maddison to Odegaard. I'm like, come on, man. Odegaard, where are you when we need you? I'm like, it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. And Arteta needs to have a good reality check as well. Like, this is his fourth season. Spent over 600 million. And look, he has to deliver this season or else.
All right, let me just say something, Terry. I feel like we understand that that's the first loss that we faced all season. I get it that it's a bad loss. We don't want to lose any games. We want to win as much as we can. We want to win every single game that we can. But let's not throw the baby out of the bathwater. Let's not go overreact. I get it that it's Lens. They're not as big names as the other teams that would want to play in Europe, and it is worrying signs. But come on, guys, to sit here and say not you. To Jason, to sit here and say, question Mikel Arteta's whole time at Arsenal based on this one performance is a little harsh, and I wouldn't go that far. I get it that we're emotional. It's after a game, but come on, guys, we don't need to go and resort to saying we're going to shut down everything and start it all over. This is one bad performance. I'm not even going that far. We go again against Man City.
No, but you're becoming part of the problem.
All of this will be
the fact that you can't even call out the team for not being good.
Bro, you can call out the team. Come on.
No. Did I say? I have not said Arteta out. So, like, I'm addressing this. The reality is, you've not called the team at once. I've not heard you criticize and go, do you know what? Actually, we've not looked good. There are problems right now. The reality is, until we don't start holding the club accountable, we ain't moving forward. You man, look, trust the process, but the man doesn't trust his own process right now. Why is he not playing his players? He looked Saka. We've been hearing for about 4 weeks. The man could be injured. Why is he still playing? He keeps playing.
I was the first one. I was the first one to say this the last game. I agree. Rotations is costing us, but at the same time, I'm not willing to. I'm not
rotated either.
Bro, Souls, I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. I was more going at the point that Jason was making, where you're coming down to the grand conclusion that this is never going to work. This is one loss out of our first 8 games. Let's relax. Go again against Man City. There's no need to go make granular statements that this whole thing is terrible and it's never going to go anywhere. That's all I'm saying.
Brandon, what do you make of this? Because obviously Saka's picked up that injury. There's been reports tonight that Arteta has said that it doesn't look good. There's people calling for the manager to be sacked tonight. Do you think asking for the manager to be sacked after one defeat this season is premature?
What's that, Terry? Saka's injured.
These men owe Brandon an apology. I just want to say that.
I literally said the same thing the other day.
Saka's injured. Okay. All right. Third game in a row that he's limped off the pitch. Yeah, third game in a row. But I'm not allowed to call it out after Bournemouth. Yeah, I'm not allowed to say anything because he starts the next game. Yeah, whether he starts the next game or not, right? That guy's not fully fit. And you could see that after Tottenham. But, you know, we played him against Bournemouth. We got away with it. He limped off the pitch. 2 days later, he's playing against Lens. You know, at some point, this manager's going to learn. You know, that's 87 games consecutively that he's played for Arsenal. 83 starts as well. Yeah. So at some point, it was inevitable. It's always going to happen. But cool. You know, I don't want to go into the whole Saka debate too much because I've already said what I had to say on that one. In terms of tonight, I have to credit Lens because I thought they set up really, really well. You know, you could definitely see what they was trying to do. I didn't know too much about them personally because I don't watch French league football. But, you know, they finished 1 point behind PSG last season in second place. And they look like a pretty decent side. Not a top level side, but a pretty decent side. And, you know, it's kind of that 2 banks of 4 that Arsenal struggle against. And it seems to be a continuous thing. And we still haven't found an answer for it. And, you know, it's a hostile place to go. There's flags at every single side of the pitch, you know, going around in the crowd. There's flares and all that lot. But guess what? That's Champions League nights for you. You have to rise to the occasion. And none of these players rose to the occasion tonight. They were poor. They were shocking. Even our goal, you know, was from a mistake made by them. And then, you know, you can see that it's going to be a difficult game. We go 1-0 up, maybe against the run of play. And then 10 minutes later, we go gifting goals. You know, David Raya, mistake. You know, William Saliba and Gabriel and their defensive positions weren't good enough on that first goal. And then kind of in the second half, I'm expecting, you know, Arteta to take these players in and kind of tell them the basics, which is in order to break these 2 banks of 4, you have to move the ball quickly. Anybody who's played football knows that, right? Create little triangles, move the ball quickly. Too many times tonight, especially in that second half, I watched Zinchenko pick up the ball, look forward. There's no movement. It's static, absolutely static, all over the pitch. Declan Rice picking up the ball, static, all over the pitch. Kai Havertz. You know, apparently this guy, now that he scored a penalty, we're going to see better performances from him. Where was he tonight? Where was Odegaard? Yeah, the midfield maestro who normally does move the ball quickly. He was nowhere to be seen. You know, so it is worrying because our away performances has actually been one of our, you know, better things this season because our away performances have been very, very good. We've kept clean sheets and we've done all of that. But it's a worrying performance tonight because if we go in to Sunday and we play like that, we're going to get slapped about. We're going to get absolutely slapped about. So we need a much better performance on Sunday. But it is only our first loss of the season. So I'm not going to lose my head too much because there's still plenty of time, you know, and plenty of games in this group to still top the group. It's not like, you know, we just lost the group because of this game. And we have to correct it when Lens come to our ground because they did make it difficult for us tonight. And I'll give them that. But we should be beating them because, in my opinion, they're probably a mid-table team in the Premier League if they played in the Premier League in terms of ability.
They're probably low. I think they're 12th in their league. So
they're currently 15th in their league. They've lost 4 of their first 7 games, but
they're not a very good team. So I mean, that's not me trying to salt, bro, because my team tonight is so far in the gut.